Let's do this.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Atomic Comms with a Atomic Opinion video. This time around we're going to be talking about some very interesting news that could prove to be very revolutionary for Nintendo. And when I say for Nintendo, I mean movies about video games have been a thing since the 80s. So no surprise there. But what I'm talking about is Mr. Kimishima, the president and CEO of Nintendo, has come forward as of yesterday, actually, saying that Nintendo is going to be seriously considering getting into the movie business, which is really awesome news. As a Nintendo fan, you know, Super Mario Brothers movie aside, I have been seriously wanting to see a Nintendo franchise be on the big screen. And the other awesome thing is that this is not a rumor. This is not, oh, the Wall Street Journal is talking about a CGI or a live-action Zelda thing, or, the Sony hack brought forth, rumors and a pitch for a Super Mario Brothers movie. It's none of that stuff. This is coming straight from Kimishima's mouth, talking about wanting to make movies from their respective IPs, Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, whatever series they want to make movies of, they can go ahead and do that. Which is something I seriously would love to see. I want to see that happen. And actually, when I first read about this fun fact, I was actually walking out of a movie before reading this, specifically Captain America: Civil War, which was amazing, by the way. So if you haven't gone and seen it, you're interested in seeing it, go see it. Damn it, it's freaking awesome. So read this, and I finally got into reading the article itself, and what it said in the article actually surprised me just as much as Nintendo wanting to make movies. And Kimishima himself, I'm going to be reading a quote from him, said that Nintendo hopes to have the first movie ready in the next 2 to 3 years. Some sources say within the next 5 years. Either way, I think it's safe to say in either case that by 2021 we're going to be seeing our first Nintendo-produced movie. And when I say Nintendo-produced movie, I don't mean something like, Super Mario Brothers, where they had little to no input on it. Because from what I've heard, Miyamoto or no one at Nintendo was paying attention to what was going on during the development of the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie, which is why it strayed away from the source, from the source content so much. And another reason why I ended up bombing so bad, because of all the because I guarantee you, if Nintendo of today was supposed to be overlooking that movie, the movie would not have ended up as bad. And there's a lot of other stuff that they were getting into, like that 5-year time stamp is really surprising me. Like that they are not only eager to do it, but they want to do it soon. Like we're not going to get a movie for another at least 2 years, at most 5. And yeah, that just makes me excited that within the next few years. I mean, it's also been confirmed that like Sonic the Hedgehog is getting his own movie, in 2018. So I guess maybe if they make a Mario movie, there's going to be a Sonic and Mario movie, both come out 2018. Console wars unite, but I don't know. But yeah, that is just awesome. And the other thing that also proves to be very what's the word I'm looking for? That proves to be very consoling or comforting, to me at least, is the fact that they don't want, well, to an extent, they don't want any of the movies to be live action because the Super Mario Brothers movie was live action, and they don't want to go in that direction again, which I will get into about that later. Which I want to get into some stuff about my opinion on the Super Mario Bros. Movie and why Nintendo took so long to get into movies. Everybody is pointing at like, oh, they shouldn't make another movie. Nintendo shouldn't make another movie because Super Mario Brothers movie sucked so much, or they shouldn't have voice acting in a Zelda game because the CDI game sucked. Oh, blah blah blah. I just it just kind of irks me whenever somebody says that, because first off, those games and movies back in the day had little to no input from Nintendo themselves. There's a lot the standards for them were a lot lower back in the day, and again, those were over 20 years ago. Who cares about that anymore? The Mario movie nowadays is just used for like nostalgia purposes, or like we just know it exists. The Zelda CDI games are used for YouTube poops and parodies and stuff like that. You know, those have pretty much been iconic. They are a meme at this point. That's all they are nowadays. They're not, they're not the best that could ever come out of these particular series or whatever. You know, if you had voice acting in a Zelda game, it shouldn't be that bad. Matter of fact, those rumors that we were talking about, with Zelda Wii U, there's supposedly going to be voice acting in the game. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But heck, I mean, if it happens and it's good, then I hope that those comparisons to the CDI Zelda game stops. And if there's a Super Mario Brothers movie and ends up being really great, then people can stop making funny remarks on the Super Mario Brothers movie. Granted, both of all those things were terrible. But, we don't, the general public or Nintendo fans in general don't go and get all scared when they hear of a voice acting in Zelda or a Zelda movie or a Mario movie and then automatically think of those particular pieces of media. And I just really hope that if they do this, because it says that not only is Nintendo planning on joining up with other studios, maybe, who knows, maybe that Sony movie that was rumored a few years ago or last year might end up becoming a reality or whatever like that. It's just a matter of Nintendo greenlighting it or whatever. They said that they wanted to join with other studios, and at the same time, they wanted to do stuff on their own. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means they want to produce it and have a lot of hands on it. I don't know if that means they want to make the movies themselves, kind of like those Pikmin movies or the Kid Icarus Uprising animes or whatever, all that stuff. Part of me really does want them to have other studios make the movies, because they really can't handle, I don't think they can handle making movies themselves, because as much as we hate to admit it, they're going a little down under, and I don't think they would be able to afford making movies along with making games all at the same time. That would just be a little too much stress, a little too stressful for them, with the workload that they got going on for them right now, with the NX coming out and everything. So I think, them joining up with Sony, joining up with Universal, Disney, I don't know, some indie studio or something like that, would be the best choice for them. But, and then them along with that, and them having their hands in the production and the development of the movies also would be awesome. Because then, as long as it doesn't reach the Ratchet and Clank movie standards, which first off I heard was terrible. If you watched my last two parts of the Star Fox Zero playthrough, you would know my opinions on the Ratchet and Clank movie, or at least a Spark Notes version of it. The Ratchet and Clank movie has not been doing very well. It's pretty much been panned by almost everybody. To fans, I'm not sure exactly what they thought about it, but basically, all the complaints are like, oh, its pacing is too fast. Yeah, because for those who don't know, the Ratchet and Clank movie is pretty much a one-to-one recreation or reimagining of the game that just came out like a few months ago, which is a reimagining of the first game that came out in 2002, I believe. And the problem with that was it was a little too faithful, to the point where they actually had cutscenes from the PS4 game in the freaking movie, which is pretty hilarious when you think about it. I should know. I've seen clips of I played the PS4 game. I've seen clips from the movie, and holy crap, that was... I don't know if they were lazy or there was some mistake or whatever, but yeah. Basically, whether you stick as close to the source material as possible or you try to deviate away from it as far as possible, either way, being too extreme with that is going to get messy, and nobody's going to like it, and nobody's going to want to buy it or watch it or whatever you want to, however you want to say, because Ratchet and Clank is doing abysmally in the box office, and it'd be hard for them to recreate something like Super Mario Brothers in a movie setting. Zelda would be more possible. Metroid definitely, which is what I also want to get into with the CGI live action thing. They should consider using live action, but for only a few of their things. Like Metroid, definitely. If they ever made an F-Zero movie for whatever reason, maybe. Yeah, they definitely should. Legend of Zelda is debatable, because that series is supposed to be realistic, but it's also supposed to be anime-ish. But also, they said that if they ever were to make an animated movie, they want it to be anime-styled, sort of. Like, whether it be CGI, or they want it to be like anime style, something, 2D animated or whatever like that. Either way, I think they should, just because the Super Mario Brothers movie was live action and did terribly, that's because it was trying to adapt Super Mario Brothers, which is a cartoony game series. Back in the day, that's all they could really do, because the technology to create a CGI 3D movie was not really up to snuff. Like, that was 1993. Toy Story, the first CGI animated movie, did not come out until 1995, I think. Yeah, like 2 years later, and even then, CGI was only being used for special effects and stuff like that, not so much full-fledged movies where everything was a CGI object. So yeah, you pretty much had to go live action, but now that technology has improved and that pretty much almost every single animated movie nowadays is a CGI movie, it'd be the perfect opportunity for that. And honestly, I don't know what exactly it is that it made Nintendo want to try to do movies. I guess it's also because of everybody's been coming up to them left and right. Sony, like I said, wanted to make a Super Mario Brothers movie. I think Pokemon. I don't know if this was confirmed or not, but then again, Pokemon's been getting movies since the first year it came out, I think, or whatever. Yeah. So that, in terms of not anime or not movie, a movie not based off the anime, I should say. They apparently want to make a CGI, or not CGI, a live action movie of all things. But Pokemon kind of runs on its own thing, separate from Nintendo, even though Nintendo owns them. But there's that, and then Netflix wanted to do a live action Zelda series, which I think was debunked and was not greenlit, or else it ended up not being true. That sucks. I actually would have loved to have watched that. I think there was also a thing where the producer of Lego himself, actually, the very awesome Lego movie, came forward and said he wanted to essentially do something like the Lego movie, but with Nintendo characters. So essentially, if you replace all the Nintendo characters, the Lego characters with the Lego movie characters with Nintendo characters, and basically have it run off of something like that. That would technically be really hilarious. Nintendo is so diverse, such as like the Lego brand. There's so many different sets and they have so many different themes to them. Putting them all together, they all end up working out. If you put, and it's already been proven that putting all the Nintendo characters together would end up working out really well and be successful. Hint, hint, Smash Brothers. Granted, if they made a Smash Brothers movie, it'd probably be more action-based, like Avengers or whatever. But still, they've been... that's the only, really recent example I could think of, because there have been other examples of people coming forward and wanting to make a movie based off of one of their franchises or all of their franchises in the Lego movie case. So maybe that has something to do with that. Maybe they just really want to try to branch out, like Mr. Iwata had said he wanted to do. He wanted Nintendo to start branching out. That's what led into the mobile devices thing, wanting to not use the Wii moniker anymore when it came to their consoles from now on. Uh, and of course, doing movies. Getting out of that shell, forgetting about the travesty that was the Super Mario Brothers movie, and actually trying to move forward with that, which is awesome. And I really hope that ends up being really successful for them. I'm going to go see these movies, of course, because I'm just that big of a Nintendo nut, where they could get frickin' 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'd probably go see it anyway. That's just how sad I am. That's what I like, because I just want to see it. I want to see the Nintendo IPs expand and be used more often, and see what they can do in terms of making a cinematic movie based off of one of their games, and see if they can break this trend of having having a video game movie, being terrible or being very bland. Because, like I said, Ratchet and Clank isn't doing very good. I think so far, Pixels, that wasn't really a video game movie, but it had video game stuff. It was about video games. Granted, that was made by Adam Sandler, so I don't think that really counts. All those, the movies that were made back in the 90s. Of course, The Wizard, even though I don't think The Wizard was that bad. Well, that was more about video games, so... Okay, movies that adapt video game stories and other stuff like that. Like Angry Birds looks really cool. I'm definitely going to go see that. World of Warcraft, I seriously felt it's going to be kind of bland, but I don't know. I'm not a World of Warcraft guy. I'm not planning to go see that movie. And, just... I love Nintendo. I hope this new business plan works for them, and I cannot wait to see what they come up with in terms of movies in the next few years. And I hope that they don't just stop at movies. They make comic books, TV shows, try to branch out these IPs that have so much potential and have done so much for the industry over the last few decades. And I would be so happy if this took off and I get to see my favorite video games, my favorite characters, my favorite IPs just be used in ways that would be just spectacular. Anyways, guys, that's going to be ended for this Atomic Opinion video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoy the video. And I'll be seeing you all later. Have a good day.